see, is it focusing? There we go. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm a photographer here in Texas, and this channel is primarily about landscapes. If you're a returning viewer or a subscriber, welcome back. I'm glad to have you. And yeah, today we're not going to be in the field, but we are going to be talking about some stuff that has to do with landscape photography. I got some stuff in the mail that I'm excited about, and I picked up something from a buddy that I'm also excited about. Oh, that's the lamp. But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and jump into it. If you've seen the video where I'm at Veterans Park, I'm constantly like wringing my hands and cold. That is a daily occurrence for me during the winter, not during the summer. But I've been looking for gloves that would suit my needs, and I haven't been able to find anything until recently. And that's one of the things that I got in the mail from a company called FDRM, I think, or FRDM, and they're photography gloves. And the reason why I like them, I've had them for about a week, but just been kind of testing them out, whatever. The reason why I like them is because they've got these little flaps, and you can open your fingers, so you can cover them up. And then when you're ready to shoot, you can do that. And the reason why I like that is because on the 5D Mark IV, there's a touch screen. And other cameras have that, but I'm talking about my camera. And when I take an image, I like to zoom in and look at it. And that allows me to do that without having to take an entire glove off. So over the last week or so, I've actually been like, not testing per se, but just using them around the house and kind of feeling them out and stuff. And I liked them so much, I bought my dad a pair of these. He's a photographer too. He's been in a few of my videos if you've been watching them. But yeah, I'm excited to use those. And in the next episode, I'm going to be at Lake Mineral Wells State Park here in Texas. And the high is supposed to be like 41 degrees, and the low is supposed to be in like the low 20s or mid 20s. So those are going to do really well for me. My hands get cold very easily. My other parts of my body don't really so much, but yeah, I'm excited for those. This I picked up from a friend. I told him that I wanted one, and he's like, hey, don't go buy one, I've got plenty. And what ended up happening was he had like 5 or 6 of them, and his girlfriend got him another one for Christmas. So he sold me an older one. It's not really old, it's only a couple months old, but for an extremely discounted price, like $250. Don't worry, I'm going to show you. But yeah, I'm excited to use this because it's going to open up so much more that I can do with my videos. But it's a GoPro Hero 7, and it's the black. I've been looking for a different vlogging setup. I don't know if you've been noticing, but this camera has been hunting a lot in terms of focus. And I've been researching using a GoPro Hero 7 as a vlogging camera, and I found a lot of essentially minimalist setups for vlogging. So in my next episode that I just mentioned at Lake Mineral Wells State Park, I'm going to use this camera for the entire thing. The audio, the video, everything. If it does well, this will replace my T6i, because although it shoots in this camera right here shoots in 1080p, I'm not happy with the autofocus, and quite frankly, I'm not too ecstatic about the audio. But I have this set up at 1080p at 60 frames a second, and you can go all the way up to 240 with the right software on your computer or editing device. But yeah, you can use that at 120 for some smooth slow-mo. You can it has a built-in time lapse that I'm excited to use, and eventually I do plan on moving to 4K, and this has 4K. Right now I do all my video and photography editing on a laptop, and I just can't justify bogging it down with 4K video footage and using that computing power to edit that stuff. It's just, it wouldn't work well for me, and it would get me probably really frustrated. But yeah, I've been looking at getting a gimbal also, but this I know is not a gimbal, so don't tear me apart, but it's better than me just holding my camera. And I tested it, and I'll throw in some test footage, but I just mounted it to my truck and drove it home, and it did really well. So I'm excited to use it. I'm excited to unlock the potential that it could have, and yeah, got it for $250, and I think they go for like 600 on Amazon after tax and stuff like that. So happy, ready to use it. Now the main thing I wanted to talk about in this video is I got some prints done. I mainly do my own prints, or I use a company called MPix, M-P-I-X. I was recommended this site. It's called White Wall by another photographer, and yeah, I'm happy with the quality. I haven't seen them yet. I've taken them out and placed them face down. I've got one here, I've got 3 over here, and I've got one back over here. But they feel really good. Just looking at them from the back, they have like mounting hardware on the back that looks real good. But I'm really excited to look at them. This is the first time I've ever looked at them, and so yeah, I want to look at them with you guys. So I went with an acrylic print. That's what this company is has a specialty in, because they look more artistic. They look more gallery-ish. But yeah, so I'm going to start with the smallest and work my way up to the biggest. And some of these I think only one I've done a video on. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the first one. See, I haven't seen it. Let's see. Oh yeah, that looks good. So this image was taken at Veterans State Park. The original crop factor was a 8x10 or a 4x5, or because it was 4:3 and I cut it down in Lightroom, but I wanted a 1:1 because of like what we're going to be doing, like how we're going to be hanging them. That's the factor that I wanted. It'll just kind of not go by, but it'll fit together a lot easier. But the reason why I chose this photo, and the reason why I really like it, is I don't want to say simple or minimalistic, but it is. You've got the green moss, you've got the brown the mud, and you've got these yellow leaves, all throughout, and I think it looks really cool. It catches my eye. Nothing is too distracting to me. And then you've got the smoothed out water right here. You've got a branch that's protruding, and then you have a little piece right here that's kind of, to me, it's not a distraction. I almost photoshopped it out, but I'm glad that I didn't. But yeah, this is a 6x6, and I really like how it looks. All right, the next one. See, I haven't looked at it, but there's I just looked at it. There's the mounting hardware. That looks really cool. For some reason, that one I have to mount my own. I don't know why. I think maybe they didn't know. It's the same mounting hardware, but I just have to do it myself. It comes with like a really strong adhesive backing, but I guess they didn't know what way it was supposed to go, which doesn't make sense because I specified in my order directions. But yeah, looks really cool. You can mount it this way or this way. Yeah, looks really cool. This one was shot at a place called the Botanic Gardens in Fort Worth. I don't have a video on this one because I was doing a couples portrait session, and it wasn't really even a pond. It was probably about a 5-foot circle that had water in it, and it had these little lily pads. What I really like about it is you have your greens, but then you have your, it's turning yellow and brown because they're dying, and you've got the orange and the yellow from the leaves that have fallen in the water. And then what's really cool, in my opinion, is you can see the surface tension like throughout the photo. And don't worry, like at the end I'm going to post the big file, not the big file, but the file into the video. But and then another thing that I like is that I could have thrown on a circular polarizer, but I didn't want to do that because I liked how, you can see like the clouds, the reflection of the clouds, and I liked how that looked. And then I also really like, you can't really tell in this, but like through here, you can see like underneath the water, like you can see through the reflection. And I think that looks really cool. Probably one of my favorite photos I've taken. it's simple. To me, it's like nice and even. The colors look good. The contrast looks good. One of my favorite images. Okay, so I know it's going to go either this way or the other way. Yep. This, I don't have a video on. Hey, it's okay. Sorry, I had to figure out what my dog was barking about. But anyways, this was taken at Benbrook Lake, and like I was saying, there are areas all around the park, or the lake, that have a whole bunch of different compositions. This is taken in an area that had what looked like miles of like dead trees that went along the, like, not a beach, but the edge of the lake. And what I like about it is you have your brown, but then you also have the orange coming off of it, because this was taken at sunset. And so you've got a really nice, the sun was over here, but there were clouds over here. And so you've got this natural gradient that goes through the image. So it's like pink, light gray, and then like still light gray, but it's a little more intense. And with the smoothed out water and the reflection and all that stuff, it just looks really good. And I know it looks off center, but I did that on purpose because I want it to be even from here to here and from here to here. So again, I'll post I'll put that digital file in the video so you can see it how I originally intended. Okay, so let's see this one. Same mounting hardware, so we'll see if it's right side up, and it is. This I actually did video, and you can see that video right here. This was taken at a nature preserve in Kennedale, Texas. And the reason, this is probably one of my favorite images that I've ever taken. The reason why is because if, say you're looking down at the lake, well, right over here, there's a house. This whole nature preserve was in like a housing area, like a housing development. And the reason why I like it is because you've got the pink, you've got the light blue, the darker blue, and then it keeps going dark, 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 dark. And what I kind of doctored that in the field, but I put a 2-stop ND filter upside down so that I could get it to transition a little better, so that it wasn't just this color, so it kind of transitions. But again, you have the reeds, but then you also have that are like a nice gray and black color, and they contrast real well against the blue. But then you also, at the base of the reeds, like right before the reflection starts, you have a like surface tension that's on the water, and it looks really cool. And another thing that I like about it, I mean, it was probably a 30-second image or exposure, but the thing that I like is the water was almost still, so you get a pretty clear reflection of the reeds. It's not so blown out like the one in the last one. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite images. And then the last one, oh, I looked at it before I showed you. This looks cool. I don't want to tell you too much about my personal life, but I did recently get married. And it was on my wife's bucket list to go to like Yellowstone National Park. And so I took her there for our honeymoon. And we stayed in Jackson, Wyoming, or Jackson Hole, Wyoming. All the locals call it Jackson, so that's what I'm calling it. We went on this little tour. I know that's not like the nature thing to do, but some guy drove us around and gave us history on both parks, and that's what we did with our first day, just because we decided to drive instead of fly because it was cheaper, and we were exhausted. We didn't want to hike. I quite frankly didn't want to take pictures, but I take my camera with me everywhere, and this guy just took us around. And one of our stops on the way back was, I think it's called Mormon Row. And when you Google Mormon Row, Grand Teton Mormon Row or whatever, you'll get a picture of essentially like a 2-story barn with the Teton Mountains in the background. And I would insert a picture. I didn't take one, but I don't want to get on like anybody's like copyright or anything. But It's this barn with the mountains in the background. And when we got there, I'm not gonna lie, I intended on taking that exact shot. And when we got there, there was probably like 20 or 30 other photographers there. I'm not kidding. And we went like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you've seen my videos before, you know I don't care about shooting in harsh light or midday light, because I have filters that can handle it. And quite frankly, I just enjoy it. Lets you use more of your day than waiting on a couple hours in the morning or a couple hours at night or in the evening. But yeah, the typical shot is of a barn. Here, I'll move over here so I can get that light out. Is of a barn in the area, but I didn't want to wait for my turn. I got impatient, and we had other things that we had to do. And on our way out, we saw this shack, and to me, it looked better than the barn. When I shoot images, I try and get something that I've never seen before. So I have never seen a picture of this shack. If I did, I would have remembered it. And so I set up my gear, and there were people walking by me that were, I'm not going to say making fun, but they didn't understand why I was taking a picture of the shack. And yeah, I snapped this photo, and it's one of my wife's favorite pictures. So it's a little memento to her, for her, of our time in Wyoming. But yeah, this is probably my second favorite image I've ever shot. The shack is simple. The grass is green and yellow. It looks really good. The mountains look a little hazy, and that was not done on purpose. While we were there, it was during the time of year where there was a whole bunch of like wildfires in Utah and Colorado, and just the wind brought all that stuff to like where we were, and it's just something that I had to fight. And it actually kind of looks cool. It helps, separate the backdrop that is the mountains and the sky from the subject that is the cabin. So but yeah, there it is. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching if you stayed for the whole thing. I know it wasn't in the field, but I hope you guys are excited for some of the stuff that I got. I hope you guys like some of the images that I showed you. And yeah, again, if you stayed for the whole thing, thank you. And until next time, thanks guys. I appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.